The recent success of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie franchise has been downright incredible, especially after the terrible beginnings he had on social media. Of course, things changed and Sonic is now the best franchise for video game movies, especially in the eyes of Sega. So stay tuned to today's video as we discuss how Sega is looking to adapt more video games following Sonic. First up, more video game movies are on the way from Sega after the massive success of Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog has had massive success in the video game world and, of course, recently in the movie world as well. When the Sonic the Hedgehog film was originally announced, the internet went crazy because of the terrible design of the iconic blue blur. The CGI was pretty good as the fur looked great, but the overall design was terrible and it didn't look anything like Sonic. After the original trailer released and the film was delayed because of the outcry from fans, it didn't look great for Sonic. However, months later, the trailer was re-released and the film was announced to have a different release date, but the biggest thing was that the design of Sonic was completely changed. With this new re-release of the trailer, Sonic had been completely changed and looked much more like his animated counterpart in the games. He was a mix of his original 2D but also his 3D design as well, making this hyper-realistic Sonic design for live action. Overall, fans really liked it, and to this day, it's one of the best CGI video game characters we've seen on screen. Since then, the film started getting positive reviews, and once it was finally released, fans knew that Sonic was going to have a big part in the next few years of video game adaptations. The first movie was only the beginning, as when the second movie was announced later that year, fans went crazy. We saw Tails in the post-credit scene of the original, and we knew from the set leaks that Knuckles the Echidna was also coming. He was of course played by Idris Elba, which completely changed people's opinions on the character being messed up in live action. Knuckles was done perfectly, and the second film came out to massive success across the world. Since the success of the first and second Sonic movies, Sega has been looking into adopting other franchises as it looks like they have a good track record so far. The good thing is that Sega has so many franchises that they could easily adapt into live action, but they just need to take the time to perfect it and learn from the lessons of Sonic during its early days. Many video game movies fail because they try to adapt what the games are and don't think about how it will come across on screen. Luckily, Sonic adapted really well to live action, and so many other Sega franchises should do the same. Despite there being so many video games, it's hard for companies to try and make some into live action. However, Sega is one of the biggest companies right now and clearly has some big franchises that could easily be adapted into live action. One of the biggest is the Persona franchise, and they have already announced that they are trying to turn this into a live action series of sorts. From what was told to IGN, Sega are working on a Persona live action and TV project as we speak. Of course, it's early days, but this is a franchise that would work really well in live action if given the budget. Persona is one of Sega's biggest franchises and is set in the somewhat real world it could adapt really well into live action. Characters will be fine played by real actors, and the only big CG will be the personas and of course the landscapes they fight in. In terms of story, you could just base it off Persona 3 or 4 or even 5, as their stories are very simple and could be crunched down into a 2-hour film. Or even better, these long stories could be turned into a long-form television series on Netflix, being around 12 to 15 episodes in length. Sega has really hit gold here as they've realized that their franchises are perfect for live action, unlike many other companies. It's going to be massive. This Persona live action series comes out and does really well. Currently, there are many other live action video game series and films coming out. One of the biggest right now being The Last of Us, which just dropped filming a few months ago. This is another series that is easily adapted to live action and is looking phenomenal from the photos we've seen and what the directors have said. Sonic the Hedgehog 1 and 2 have really broken the trend of terrible video game movies. Since the first one was released, we have had some decent adaptations like Uncharted and of course the upcoming Last of Us and Twisted Metal series. Whilst we haven't seen The Last of Us and Twisted Metal in action yet, both are helmed by big directors and have an amazing cast. They also have a big budget and good writing staff behind them, meaning that if they stick close to the source material, these adaptations could be amazing. Of course, we don't know what the future will hold for other adaptations as well, as more companies are definitely jumping on the bandwagon. Rather than live action, other companies are also going in the animated route, such as Nintendo with their Super Mario movie coming out soon. They have gone with Illumination as their main company, which you should know as creating the Minions and Despicable Me. Stuff like like this make sense as Nintendo has had flops in the past with live-action Super Mario. Companies just need to realize that some of these franchises really don't work in live action and should stick to animated or even just stay as video games. But what do you think about all of this? Please let us know down in the comment section below, and also tell us your thoughts on the upcoming Sega projects that we've heard about today. And now onto some other video game news. Finally, we have Nier Automata. Player finds a secret even some die-hard fans didn't know about. Our final story of today's video comes from a recent Reddit post that has broken the Nier Automata community in half. This game is meant to be completely solved by now, and even the developers have said that the fans have found every secret that they coded. However, with the recent Reddit post, it seems like that was completely false, as one new player has found a completely secret new area. A member of the community recently joined and started playing the game only to find a new secret area. When asked about this area on Reddit, no one believed them as they hadn't discovered it for themselves, but only once they provided video evidence did the internet go crazy. Sad Fatago initially made posts on the game's subreddit a month ago about the church, asking if anyone else knew how to reach it. One such post was auto-moderated for low engagement. Then they proceeded to show screenshots of the church in question, an area no one has seemingly reached until Sad Fatago, and finally today posted a short video demonstrating their discovery. Sad Fatago's footage comes from close to the end of the game, with Automata's third hidden protagonist, A2, fighting in the copied city, a surreal whitewashed area from earlier in the game. A2 begins the clip engaged in battle with some standard enemies who spawn in the area after its initial story appearance. Approaching a nondescript wall, A2 gets an interact prompt. Sad Fatago told us they initially thought it was an item drop, but activating it caused a doorway to open up in the wall. On the other side is a precipitous drop that leads to a twisting funhouse hallway. The video cuts off before A2 reaches the site of Sad Fatago's earlier screenshots. With no one else having discovered the area, it remains unclear how the hallway transitions into a church interior, as well as if there's anything else down there, which means plenty of Redditors are skeptical of the footage. This surprising secret comes from a player who only recently started playing the game casually and wasn't looking for areas like this. They were playing at the same time as a friend, and their friend couldn't find a way out of this area, which took them to Reddit in the first place. Everyone knew that NIA had many secrets that no one had found, but we'd assumed that the developers just forgot about them. The community had been told that they had found every secret, but there were some skeptics out there who didn't believe. Well, now they've been proven right, as this new secret still hasn't been found by any other players yet, as they are looking for a way in. Of course, this Reddit user will still be making posts about this and replying to other players, so hopefully it gets found soon. And that's the end of today's video.